everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jess from BehatiLife. Thank you so much for tuning in. This video is the Astro Tarot, an intuitive message for the week of August 21st. Before I get started, I want to say thank you and a huge welcome and big hug to the new subscribers who just ended up hitting that subscribe button and joining our tribe here on the YouTube forum. A big welcome to you. This is a sacred space that I've created for all of us who love astrology, tarot, intuition, spirituality, etc., self-healing, transformation. I mean, the list goes on and on. So I really want to say thank you so much for choosing to ride with me, to be by my side, to be by our side, to be part of our community. And also, I really want to encourage you to leave comments, to connect with others, and to engage, because that is why this YouTube channel was created, was for us to have this sacred space and this platform for us to talk about astrology and to be updated and informed. So let me just go ahead and dive right in, because I'm trying not to make these videos too long, but we're starting off this week with a huge bang. Why? Because we had this Leo solar eclipse, which was insanely powerful. I hope that you spent some time setting your intentions, that you listen to my advice from the videos before, where I was telling you, look, you guys, you need to be focused. You need to know what it is that you want. You need to work on developing and bringing this energy into your life, and to set the intention the day of, the day after, or the day after that, following the eclipse, because this is going to be a game changer. I really wanted to encourage you to connect with your heart, to connect with your intuition. Anything that bubbles up, don't negate it. Don't look at it and be like, okay, that can't happen, or, be serious, Kathy. Be serious and be realistic with yourself. This new moon, was not about being realistic. It was about tapping into your heart and your long-term vision. And I think that for so many of us, sometimes what we do is we have this vision for ourselves, or we see things that we want for ourselves, and we second guess ourselves, and through second guessing it ourselves and this reality, or this possibility that it can come in, we end up shooting our own selves in the foot and stopping ourselves and stopping our own progress because of our own self-doubt, or our fear, our insecurity, or whatever the case may be. So this solar eclipse, and I did go into far more detail. I had a total video about the solar eclipse specifically, which you can find on my channel. If you need me to see that, if you need to see it, I can link it down below in the description box. But this solar eclipse was really you planting those seeds. It's about you opening the door. And that was the other thing too that I kept on seeing, is that and intuitively I kept on feeling like, look, there are new opportunities and new avenues coming in. Like there's resources and external things that are going to come in, but really what you need to do is to open the door yourself and to create that own opportunity for yourself. And a lot of that came from, okay, what is it that I want? Also realizing that I'm worthy, and then opening up to prioritize my happiness and my health and my long-term vision, and to start now. These were the vibrations and the energy that I was getting last week that I was talking about, and that still kind of is, well, not kind of, that energy is still flowing in. It's not trickling in, it's flowing into this week. So that we already are starting off really strong on the 21st, the Monday, with that solar eclipse. So if you haven't set those intentions the night of the eclipse, which even though the eclipse happened during the day, but if you haven't set the intention for the night, that night, or if you're not doing it today, today's the 22nd, I'm filming on the 22nd, of Tuesday, then at some point today or tomorrow on Wednesday, or Thursday, the latest, set some really serious, strong intentions. Write them down. If you want to know how I do my own intentions, I will link that video down below in the description box. But across the board, do what works for you. But of course, you can always check out what works for me. On the 22nd, today, the sun enters into the sign of Virgo. Now, for those of you guys who are new to the channel and you're wondering why I'm looking off to the left, it's because I have the astrological chart pulled here on my left-hand side. Basically, how I read charts is I pull the chart, I look at the angles of it, I look at the planets, how they're affecting each other, their relationship, but I also like to leave the door open for intuitive messages to kind of flow through me. That's how I do my work, always, always, always. That's what makes me different from other astrologers, is that, you know, we factor in the math and the science and the angles of the astrological chart that's happening within the planets, something that we can't change, we can't really influence, but I also open up for intuitive messages for all of us across the board. If you need to work with me one-on-one, we can do that. All the links for that are down below in my description box. So on the 22nd, the sun enters into the sign of Virgo. Now, I love this. Personally, I love this. I'm a Virgo myself, but this energy is so, I don't want to say serious, but it's so focused, it's so determined, it's so funneled. It's like, when I look at this energy within the chart, I'm like, okay, you know, it's not going to be, you know, all fun and games for everybody. What you want to do is to take the seeds that you planted and begin to work to develop them, to begin to perfect yourself, to begin to create the bones, the structure for preparation for what's to come. And that's the first thing that I think of when I see the sun moving into the sign of Virgo. I hear the word preparation, prepare, 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 prepare. Are you prepared for the seeds that you planted a week ago, a month ago? Are you prepared for the intentions that you've set? Start cleaning it out. Start cleaning your apartment. Start making space and start making room for those things to start coming into your life. So let's say it's a relationship. Let's say you set the intention, because this Leo solar eclipse can totally, absolutely bring in the energy of you know, the relationship of your dreams, because it's so connected to the heart. And it's so big, it's so outrageous, it's so phenomenal. So if that's the case, then you need to start cleaning out and doing some purging. It's time for you to release in order to make room for the new. And the best thing that you can do is to create physical change within your environment, because that signals to the universe, this girl is really serious about what it is that she wants to manifest in her life. If this is career changes or health and routine and your daily routine, make the changes now to prepare for what it is that you want to come into your life. Also, if you're not setting intentions, or if you're not trying to bring anything else into your life, this is the perfect month. This is the perfect time to begin to perfect your daily routine. This means taking better care of your health. This means going over your agenda book and your schedule and canceling out things that, you know, are taking up too much of your time, or restructuring your time, becoming more organized, more diligent. And the other thing that just came to me is being responsible, like being a responsible adult. Now, I say that, and as soon as I say it, I'm like, I want you to hear me, and I want you to hear me out. And I want you to understand where it is that I'm coming from. This is about, I think sometimes when we hear the word adult, or when we hear like being mature or being responsible, we're like, oh God, this is going to be a burden. But really what this means is taking charge and taking control and building the life that works for you the best way that it works for you. So this means, like, if I am on top of my game, if I'm on top of the things that I need to do, and if I restructure my time and my schedule, then I can actually make more space and time for the things that I want to do, and also peace of mind when you don't have, you know, your phone blowing up because you're not paying your student loans, or you're delayed in a certain payment, or you're running behind all the time and you feel like you're constantly playing like catch up and trying to chase time or chase your expectations, your obligations. So basically, the sun moving into the sign of Virgo, I think responsibility, I think preparation. I think that we're preparing, we're building, and we're becoming more responsible. We're owning our commitments, we're owning what we can and cannot do, and we're changing and revamping the game plan so that we're not like burning the wick at both ends and stressing ourselves out and frustrating other people, frustrating ourselves, losing opportunity, losing momentum because we just are burning rubber. So that's what I really see for this change, this transition in. Also, making healthy changes during this time is phenomenal. If you are making positive dietary changes, canceling out and crossing out fatty foods, eating out too much, neglecting, whatever your hygiene, or maybe not taking as much care as of yourself and of, your time is a big thing that keeps on coming up to me, even as I say this now. If you're neglecting those areas, then you end up exhausting yourself. You end up doing the most and not getting enough done. Just because you're moving doesn't mean that you're getting things done. Just because you're moving doesn't mean that you're progressing forward. So with this change, with this adjustment, especially with Mercury going retrograde, it's asking us to look again and to reevaluate and to revamp and restructure. And Saturn too has been retrograde. This says, look, your long-term visions, your long-term goals, the things that you want to cement and build for the future, you have to return back and revamp it and re-switch it up and change it. So because something is not working, or if you continue this way, it's not going to pay off. So that's why we're seeing a lot of complications. That's why you may be seeing some slowing down. You may see some obstacles kind of presenting itself. It's because those areas need to be shifted. They need to be changed, because for the long-term vision, it wouldn't have worked out the way that it was. So that's something that I see absolutely, 100,000% here starting August 22nd. I know people groan when they see this, but when, Sun moving into the sign of Virgo, but really, this is, again, about being productive and starting to grow things. What does Virgo do but tend to things and allow them to grow? Virgo is very, very fertile. And if you use the energy wisely, it's about building and accruing and perfecting and preparing. So work with that energy and it'll work with you. Also on the 22nd, Mars is trining Saturn. And Saturn, again, is the planet of long-term vision and commitment and our investments. And Mars is our energy and our passion and where we're channeling our drive, our momentum. And when Mars and Saturn trine each other in this way, our energy and our momentum builds constructively. We're like a train that's like chugga 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 chugga. It's like you really start feeling that momentum kind of building itself and going faster and faster and faster and faster. Keep in mind that Saturn also right now is retrograde. So is Mercury. Mercury also is retrograde. So you want to factor in some areas of, okay, if something pops up or if an obstacle resurfaces or something of the past is bubbling up now, let me take it seriously, let me check it out, and let me decide if I bring this with me, or do I toss it out of the train window and keep on chugga-lugga, 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 chugga-lugging, if that makes any sense. So channel this energy really, really wisely, really constructively. Interestingly enough, this week, Saturn is going to move direct. Now, this is where I'm like, hallelujah, for real, I'm doing a dance. Why? Because Saturn rules a lot of my chart, the important pieces of my chart. So personally for me, Saturn rules my relationships. And when Saturn was retrograde, this is like, hey Jess, before you commit or before you look at something or someone for long term, there's some things that you want to be aware of. And that's when the universe is like, poop, 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 and pops these things up. And I'm like, okay. And it makes me reevaluate. It makes me revamp how I've been doing things. It makes me revamp my relationships. Now, some people are like, oh my God, that sounds awful. And in some ways, it does create pain. It does create tension. It does create ache. Because Saturn says, grow up. Saturn says, mature. If this is what you want, and if this is what you are saying that you want to commit yourself to, because sometimes we really do lose ourselves in details. Sometimes we lose ourselves in whatever the case may be. So Saturn says, it's like the slap in the face and says, wake up. If you want to do this, then this is what your life is going to look like. Is this what you want your life to look like? Like Saturn is that parent that just comes in and says, if you don't get your life right, then you're going to be this. And do you want to be this? Then no, then get your ass back on that school bus and you go to school. Like for real, that's what Saturn brings. Whether it's your relationships, whether it's your health, whether it's your job, whether it's psychological traumas that you need to deal with, whatever the case may be, find Saturn within your chart and you'll see, you know what, I've been like, you'll see, you're like, okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. Saturn has been testing me. Saturn did tell me that I should stop eating Oreos in bed at 12 o'clock at night because when I wake up in the morning, I have heartburn. I know better. And if I continue, like God forbid, if I continue eating sugar and sweets all the time, it's not going to be good for my health. And I should probably revamp that and change that. That's why I've been having stomach aches. You know what I mean? That's Saturn saying like, look, if you keep this up, you're going to have long-term effects and they're going to suck. So if you don't change this is what your life is going to look like 10 years from now. Make some changes. Like Saturn is serious. Saturn is so serious. Saturn and Pluto are intense. Everyone says, oh my God, Mercury retrograde, but it's Saturn retrograde and Pluto retrograde that's going to come in and rock your world. Like for real. Whatever. Saturn will rock your world. Pluto retrograde will rock your world. Anyways, moving forward, there's a lot of incense in here this afternoon. So Saturn goes direct and went retrograde on April the 5th. So that's when we started seeing some like, ooh, do I really want this? Like, okay, I have to grow up. I have to do things differently. Like what, looking at the future and taking the future seriously. What you do now affects the future. We talked about that in the last few videos. Moving forward, because I feel like I went off topic there for a little bit. On the 24th, we have Venus square Uranus. Now, Venus represents relationships, love, and beauty. This is not a good time. Oh my God, you guys. And Mercury is retrograde. This is not the time to get a haircut or to try something new or to be like, I'm going to buy a car because it's fancy and it's cool and it's going to make me look. Don't do it. The 24th, this week, don't make any purchases, actually. Don't make huge purchases. Now that I'm saying that, I'm so glad I'm saying it because I was actually thinking about changing my website look. I was thinking about updating it. I'm not going to do it now that I'm thinking it out loud. Why? Because Venus represents beauty, aesthetic, love, relationships. Uranus rules, erratic changes, spontaneity. And when you have these two together, the two energies of these planets are like butting heads. They're not working together. They don't like each other. They're just like, what are you doing? I want to do it this way. I want to do it this way. And what it creates is chaos, confusion, confliction. Like it's no bueno. You're going to regret it. Especially with Mercury retrograde, it's not a good, I just see people too also getting like, I need my space. I can't. Like I need my space. I need to do things for myself. I see that within relationships. Be aware of that on the 24th, that there may be some some random split ups that happen within relationships. Some things kind of popping off. You heard it here first. Okay. Just be aware. Don't put pressure on anybody. Don't force anyone to do anything because it will be a split decision where they're just like, I'm done. I need freedom. I need space. I'm leaving now. It's very explosive. It's very sudden. It's very cutthroat. Also, you yourself may be feeling like, I can't do this anymore, or this isn't what I want, or just throwing everything away, or saying, independence, remove me, restrictions, release me, and then taking off. And with Mercury retrograde and with the other planets following the way that they are, we may regret the decisions that we made impulsively on this day. All right, so you've been warned. On the 25th, beautiful Venus enters into the sign of Leo. Now, I see this as like sparkles. I see this as glitter. I see this as in your face, out there, elaborate, luxurious, beautiful, wonderful. So I say if you are going to make changes to your appearance, do it 4 days after the 24th, so starting on the 28th, that would be a great time to do it, especially with Saturn going direct on the 25th. Venus in Leo is beautiful. I think that we're starting off a little wonky, a little funky with the 24th, with the Venus squaring Uranus, but that's passing. It'll pass within, I want to say 4 or 5 days. And after that, then we can feel the benefit and the beauty of Venus moving into the sign of Leo. Now, this is when people are more moving from their heart. They're more pronounced. They're more expressive. This is someone who goes above and beyond to say, I love you. You're the queen of my life and I love you so much and you have my heart and my blah, blah, blah. Have diamonds, have pearls, have flowers, like they go above and beyond. So if you're thinking about making things beautiful, if you're thinking about presenting something, if you're working with the creative arts, this would be a great time to put yourself out there, to work on being creative, to work on creation of all types. This is just good vibes all around. And then lastly, we end this week beautifully on the 27th with Jupiter, the planet of abundance, supporting so wonderfully Saturn, which is now direct. And this is when we start to see the abundance really starting to flow in and touch and mingle with Saturn even more. And this is where I see joy and optimism and the feeling across the board, spirits kind of lifting and things kind of shifting globally, but also in our personal lives, where we're just like, you know what? I have hope for the future. Weird. Everything that's going on, I have hope. After everything that has happened, I'm excited. The future could be dope for me. There's blessings for me. There's abundance for me. And also, keep your eyes open because you may receive a message from the past on the 27th saying, look, we may have overlooked you and we're sorry for that. Maybe you can come on board. Maybe you can work with us. And also, we're offering this financial opportunity. So, yeah, I did pull some cards for you guys. Of course I did, because that's what I do. Number one, the Tower card. So, with this, we want to keep our eyes open. I always say that when the Tower card shows up, expect the unexpected across the board because you never really know what you're going to get. That being said, listen to your intuition. Listen to your vibes. What is your gut telling you? I think that for a lot of us, we need to begin to, again, look at the future. If you are getting opportunities kind of coming in and flowing in, because again, with this eclipse, this energy is not trickling in. It's like the floodgates open up and this abundance starts like coming into your life immediately. So with that, you really want to listen to your gut and your intuition. Does this feel right? Does this work with me? When I set the intention, is this kind of what it is that I wanted? What is coming in, does it feel bad? And if that's the case, I need to take my time with it, or I need to tell it no. If it feels good, but it isn't quite what you wanted, open up to that, but listen to your vibe, listen to your intuition. Give it a chance, try it out. Keep your perspective open. I think that for many of you, there's a lot of things that are on the horizon that are beginning to come in now, and you're going to start seeing those messages, especially now that these planets, Saturn going direct and Mercury doing, getting its fingers in the pudding or whatever. What's that quote? Putting its finger in the pie, whatever the case may be. But Mercury is the messenger. And even though it's retrograde, it'll still bring messages in, but 9 times out of 10, those messages come back from opportunities from the past. Things that you've already set into motion that now begin to manifest themselves and bring themselves into your life. Okay, so you guys, this week has a lot of stuff going on. Action is going to be fast. It's going to be quick. You're probably going to be hearing some news. It depends on what's going on in your astrological chart to see where that news is coming from. Saturn, you need to check to see where Saturn is within your personal chart. You need to know your rising sign, meaning you need to know your time of birth in order to see what house Saturn is falling within your astrological chart, to see where you have been receiving complications, slowdowns, and the planet itself is saying, you need to be more serious about this. You need to pay attention to this. You need to make some changes here, because for the future, if you don't, you're going to have some problems ahead. So let me know what that means for you, what's going on with you. Let me know in the comments. Let me know if this makes sense. Please share this video with your friends. You know, share love with each other. And again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. All right, we'll talk soon. Bye.